Hi, this is Carl. Welcome to the training video on getting started with tasks in Coach Valet. First, you're going to go to Coach Valet. You're going to log in with your standard login, and I'm going to log in as Larry from Cousin Larry's Tech Support. And so I log in. Remember, Larry's the owner, so he has functionality that standard users don't necessarily have. So this video is about what you do once you've signed up for Coach Valet. It's pre-populated with lots and lots and lots of tasks, and you got to figure out, well, how do you make sense of all that? It can be very overwhelming. First, when you go to the task list, you'll see that there's lots and lots of tasks there. Each user has their own personal task list. So if I click on my task list, I'm only going to see tasks specifically assigned to Larry, because that's who I'm logged on as. So he's only got 5 things assigned to him, but there's lots of stuff unassigned. So if we go to the big task list, you'll see here, holy smokes, Batman, 167 tasks. I'm going to change this so it'll max out at 200 per page. That way I get the entire list in one place. And you see here we sort by number, and there's 167 tasks. By default, they're in the set up into some category, and then they are given a status medium, or a priority of medium, and a status of either excellent or, in some cases, no progress. So you got to figure out, all right, who should be assigned to them, and what should their grade be, and what their priority should be, and are they in the right category. Now, separate from this, we've kind of gone through and we'll clean up some categories, but right now what you need to do is figure out, how do I begin looking at these 167 tasks without becoming overwhelmed? My recommendation is that you go to task reports and you sort by category, and that way you can deal with them in chunks. So for example, you can look at administration, and then you can look at tech support, and then you can look at personnel or whatever. So one thing at a time. And these are by default sorted by the category. So there's there's administration is where a bunch of them are, and others are going to be in other categories. So when we look at this, we can look at just administration, or if we choose to, we can look at some of the other categories. So finances, oh, okay, that's small, that's pretty manageable. Why don't we take a look at that? So first thing that I recommend you do on each of these is figure out whether or not it has the correct priority. And priority is here where it's high, medium, or low. So these are set by default to a medium priority. So when we look at finance, we'll say, okay, monthly profit and loss is up to date. I'm going to call that something that should be a high priority. So I go into it. Once I'm in it, then I can see the grade and the priority. So I'm going to say this is a high priority, and I'm going to save it. Now, at that time, I can also go in and put in other things. So if I say, well, I'm doing kind of B work on that right now. It's in finance. We're going to assign it to Larry because he's the owner of the company there. So I save that. And it takes me back to the list that I was on before. So I can go right down to finances, and you see here now it's assigned to Larry. It's a high priority, and we say the grade level is B. I forgot to change the date on that, so we'll have to go back to that. So now we say, okay, accounts receivable as low as possible. Now that's something that I think that we actually are doing a great job at. I'm going to put Jane in charge of that. She's the manager. I think excellent is fine. I also think it's a high priority. So I'm going to save that. And it's ongoing, so I'm going to actually change this date to be the end of the year. And then we'll just create another one for next year. And I save that. Now I could say, you know what, I'm just going to go to the finances category, and that way, since I'm always I'm just looking at finances right now, let's just go ahead and get that list, and that way when I go back to the page, I don't have to go find the section again. All right, next one is budget projections for the next 3 years. That's going to be something that Larry, the owner, is going to do. Right now, we're doing fair on that. We get part of it done, but we haven't finished all of it. It's kind of a medium priority, to be honest. Larry's got a pretty small shop. He's got a good handle on what he needs. He will eventually need to do the 3-year projection, but it's not a super high priority right now. So we're going to make that again 1231 and save that. Now we go back, you see, we got to go back to finances. We'll look at that page. Oops. And that's all good. So now contracts in the PSA has to be set up. All right, so that's a task that we completed a long time ago, long before we ever heard of Coach Valet. So even though I'm going to change the date, it's already done. It was assigned to Larry. It's a high priority, but we're just going to mark it as complete and be done with it. So the contracts are set up in the PSA system. Now when I go back to finances and I look at the report, you'll see that that one is not on the list because I marked it as complete. If I wanted to show it, I would include completed as well, and then I would get all of the tasks even if they've been completed. The nice thing about clicking completed is that they disappear from your reports, and so the number of tasks that you have to manage gets smaller and smaller. Again, setting up invoices in the PSA, that's been completed. So we're going to assign it to Larry, but we're going to mark it as complete. So this is actually good. We're getting some progress of paring down that list, so it's a little bit shorter and a little easier to manage. And let's see what else. QuickBooks chart of accounts straighten out, payment in advance policy, pay dates optimized, right? So each of these things we want to go through. So that's the first thing that I would do to organize tasks. Now the fastest way to get back to the entire list of everything is to just go to the task list, even though you're almost there and you could have done it from that other page in a different search. So now when we go through, we see, first of all, it has saved our setting to show up to 200 on the page, but now we're down to 165 tasks. So that's basically the way I would do it, is I would first go through one group at a time and mark the priorities for that group. Now from this page, if you wanted to go real fast, you could sort by category here, and it gives you pretty much the same thing because administration is first, followed by finance, relax, focus, succeed, sales, tech support, right? So you could just go through, let's say, the tech support category. You could just go through this list. You can also, at the top of here, if you wanted to do an advanced search, you could say, well, I just want the tech support categories. So now this has got only the tech support category. It's basically the same thing that you would get from the task report, except that here you go directly into editing one, or you could delete them. So if there are some tasks like that you think you don't need, right? Well, here's the add, move, change policy that you have to explain to clients. So that's one where you could edit it. I'm looking for one that you could actually delete. Audit process, insurance, backup philosophy. I don't want to create a backup philosophy. I don't want to. I'm not going to waste my time on that. So I could delete that here. Truth is, I think it's very important, so I'm not going to delete it. But you could see how it would be easy to just go through here and pare down the things that you don't think you need to do. So one by one, you need to set these up. Again, I think the most important thing to do is to start out by assigning priorities. Once you do that, then you can go through and assign them to individuals and grade yourself and so forth. But if all you do is go through and just assign a specific priority to each of these items, I think that will give you a lot to go on, because now you can sort your list by priority. And remember, most of these have a default of excellent, so it's not going to do us much good. But for the ones where right now we say, okay, we got this high priority, I can then look at just my high priority tasks. So out of the 165 tasks that we now have, we might have, I don't know, 10 or 15 that are high priority. And so we want to look at those and say, how are we doing? What's our grade on those? And those we want to go through very carefully. We want to make sure that all of this information is correct. It's assigned to the right person, it has the right grade, it's in the right category, it has the right due date. Once all of those are set up, you know your highest priority stuff is good to go, and that's the most important thing for your company to get started on. After that, you can move to obviously the medium priority stuff. And again, we threw all of the medium priority stuff into the mix here, so almost everything appears as medium priority, and once you get through the sorting process, that will no longer be the case. So again, these reports over here are really handy for you because they give you a quick way to look at the data in different views. All of your open tasks are going to show up in all of these reports except the tasks by contact. That's one where you could sort it out and you say, I just want to see Carl's tasks, or I just want to see Larry's tasks, or I just want to see different people. So if I set my contact to be just Jane, then I'm only going to see Jane's tasks. The rest of them by grade, by category, priority, however it makes sense to you. Again, you just want to massage that 165, probably pare it down to about 150, but once they have the right categories and the right priorities, then you can grade them, and then you can run reports that are meaningful for actually managing your company. So between now and the next training video, I'm going to go through every one of these, and I'm going to assign them to the right people, put them in the right category, assign the right priority, and assign a grade to each of them that is meaningful. And then I will be ready to actually use Coach Valet to manage my IT company. Please send me any questions you have at carlp@smallbizthoughts.com, and if you have any questions or suggestions, I will be very happy to have them. Thanks for tuning in today.